Hello, friends. My name's Host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People. I'm here. I'm queer. I don't want any more bears. That's Homer Simpson famously said. I'm restless. I'm restless with the restlessness of post mia, post proto mia, post mia, but pre fully post mia. I'm still in a state of what you might call mugity. Would be a good name for it. It's a state of perpetual meow that wavers and peaks and valleys as its meowiness assaults your ontology like crashing waves against a cliff face. So are the days of our lives, and this is one of the days of my life. And despite it being one of a finite number of days of my life, I am restless. Oh, sure, I could be doing something useful. Oh, sure, I could be spending my time wisely. Maybe I am. Maybe this is what it means to spend my time wisely. At the moment, it feels like it probably is, because otherwise, what do you do with the meow? If I don't throw the meow upon the world, regardless of whether the world wants the meow, hi, Lady Lou, I'm throwing meow at you right now. I'm unloading my meow upon the world in hopes of ridding myself of it. I'm not sure if that means you have to carry some of the meow or if it just lands on the ground. I'm not sure. But if you do end up having to carry some of the meow, sorry about that, but it's just how it goes because I'm unloading meow today. I'm dishing it. You got some meow too? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe we could both unload our meow onto Raphael Canonbray. Thanks, Raphael Canonbray. Oh, you don't want to unload it onto Raphael Canonbray? He's new. He'll probably enjoy having some meow unloaded on him. You're going to help me shoulder some of my meow? Thanks. What a cooperative bunch of people we have here. Here I am just unloading meow, and I've got takers for meow. Wow. Well, let me tell you the source of my meow. Because it's not that big of a deal. It's a general restlessness born of having slept all I can possibly sleep. Still not exactly feeling fully rested, but I just can't sleep anymore. I have slept my ass off. We went to bed at like 7 o'clock last night and slept more than 12 hours. And, and here I am awake, not really wanting, more in regular Eric mode. Regular Eric mode means I want to put information, not necessarily consume it. I watched a little bit of myself, and then I watched that INTP video that's doing well, and I was like, this is doing well. Maybe I should watch it and see what's up with it. There's one in which I replied to an email. It's pretty good. Hi, Mattias. Hi, Peter. How are you? So, anyway, I'm feeling like energetic and kind of like doing things, but what that mostly means is I'm feeling like hitting up you know who for some you know what. That's what it really feels like. And you know who isn't answering her phone right now. She's probably still asleep. She likes to sleep in. A helping of quince and mints can cure the meow. Well, I don't know. I don't think I have either of those things on hand, Dulles. I don't think I have either quince. I have neither quince nor mints on hand. Shockingly, I'm sure most of you guys do have both on hand, but The you can be restless too. Yeah, everybody can be restless with me. It's not a great state of being because it doesn't have a lot of clarity to it. It's just restless, you know. The young and the restless. My grandmother wasn't a young and the restless watcher. She was a days of our lives watcher. Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. I don't know what a runcible spoon is. I heard the term recently, but I still don't know what it is. I think somebody even explained it to me recently, but I don't remember what it is. Runcible. What's a word that rhymes with runcible? Punchable? Punchable kind of rhymes with runcible. Hi, Jonathan Vasanti. I almost streamed last night a stream called Stream for Yo-Yo, who was blowing up my phone from the Netherlands, asking if I was going to stream. I was trying to deal with my client. I was trying to get non-alcoholic beer and deal with my client while who's like, I'm trying to text and text back, and the phone keeps ringing. And who is it? Yo-Yo from the Netherlands. Blowing up my phone at a very inconvenient moment. I kept hanging up. No, decline. No, I don't want to talk to this fucker. I'm in the middle of something. So, but him having done so was almost annoying enough to make me actually stream last night. And say, hey, Yo-Yo. Knock it off. Knock off your nonsense. You know, can't you picture, see this background here? I totally picture an action movie where somebody either, breaks one of those panes of those windows and then lowers themselves down on a rope, or somebody falls through that glass ceiling from like a helicopter or something, That would be a good action scene in a movie. Yeah, well, Boba Fett at least stream demands as well. And I try to, I try to take those into consideration. But the bottom line is, people think they want me to stream when they want me to stream, but they only really want me to stream when I want to stream, otherwise it would just be shitty. And even when I do want to stream, it's usually kind of shitty. It depends, It's not like these are great works of art or anything. Me yammering on, chatting with people in the live chat. Sometimes they're more entertaining to watch than others. It's like I listen to them sometimes, and sometimes I don't. It depends really on whether it's a good stream or not. Contronyms, words that are their own antonyms. Oh, I see. Yeah. Cheese has holes. Well, some cheese has holes. That's the trick there, Peter Chichi, is you left out the word some. Oh, merciful heavens. So yeah, I'm trying to call Delilah and say, hey girl, what's up? You holding? Which I'm sure she is. She'll be like, Dad. No, she's actually really cool about it usually. So, what do I have to talk about today? Well, I'm feeling meow for a number of reasons. Some of them kind of serious. Like, we're still waiting for Rachel to get over serotonin syndrome. It's been both awful and kind of good. It's brought us closer together for sure. Like we've had to have some like serial conversations about our feelings and stuff, and it's been painful for me to see her struggle with basic things like I'm not the yo-yo to her. Peter Dentici, that's my daughter, okay? She and I have a wonderful relationship. Um, so, so yeah, it's been very emotional and continues to be because we're past the 3 week mark and she's still experiencing symptoms of it. She's still sleeping a lot. She's still not physically fully functional. Um, but she's also still not needing any of her Prozac or anything. I mean, she's not on it, so it suggests we just need to wait a little bit longer. I was happy that somebody in one of the comments said that they had a really bad case of it and it lasted them 7 weeks. So that was kind of like, okay, this is not unprecedented. And it's like, but it's tough because the reality is it's not like there's any data on this particular drug and interactions and stuff, and it makes it scary. Whatever my logic and reason tell me about the fact that it's like she's she's weirdly super sane. It's strange. Like like she's always been sane since we got her fixed, right? And regular Rachel, but in her current state of being, she's got this weird, like, comfortable Zen clarity about her it's makes it not all bad. Yeah, maybe Peter Dentici, maybe less of an intuitard, but just as intuitive. Um, Much more active with her SI, I guess. And and it's like I told her last night. The key takeaway about all of this is like throughout all of these challenges, she's a trooper and I'm a baby. That's what it boils down to. And it's like she has to be a trooper because she doesn't want to make her problems my problems, and I'm a baby, and I uh, I don't know what to do about it. It's like I don't know how to deal with my feelings exactly. I don't know. I just don't know how to deal with these sort of things, except to just reassure her that I love her. I'm here for her regardless of what happens. Blah blah all that stuff. Um, but so it's a strange state of being for both of us, I think, because in the one sense we've been through something much more challenging than this, which is when she was batshit crazy. That was much more challenging than this. That was much more relationship threatening, right? Because there was something wrong with Rachel. Right now, there's something wrong with Rachel's body, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with Rachel. You know, I mean, the thing is, people can have various relationships with their if slot function from a third party's perspective, right? Like, so from a third party's perspective, if I were to go work out or exercise every day more or something, that would be indicative of me having better SISE. But it's, I don't know. Well, the kind of the thing. Here's what I mean, kind of by her being a trooper across the board is we were talking last night. And she described having gone through some stages of grief regarding what was happening to her, and she mostly did that in private, and I wasn't really even aware of it, as I was still trying to figure out what was going on, and um, I don't know. It's I guess it's an FI thing because I I have a lot of trouble putting it into words, which is typical for things that are FI things. It's just in some sense, I find the whole process. If I could not be in the experience anymore, if we could be beyond it at this point, I would find the whole experience kind of beautiful. Like, it's compelled Rachel and I to spend more time directly effing, I guess, and I think that FIing in particular. Um, and while it's challenging and tiring and sometimes painful, it's also very bonding. So it's not something I want to get in the habit of or anything. Don't get me wrong. But for me as an SI user, like it goes down on the flow as important time as a couple or whatever. And an example of a time where we handled another challenging thing together as a team well, which is how we always seem to have been. We've always functioned well as a team. It's like you see my half of the team a lot more. You don't see much of her half of the team, but that doesn't mean she's not half the team, right? INFJs operate in subtle ways on mechanisms that have big impacts but are more challenging to articulate. I was noting Eric, you appreciate my relationship with FI because you're FE polar and I rather die than use FE. Well, the thing is, you wouldn't rather die than receive good FE. So it's like that's the thing. With our polar, we usually are only okay with it in one capacity, I think. Either just treating it as I'm the object, this thing's hitting me, which is my basic relationship with FI. Even though, which means I'm treating it like I'm receiving it, like I'm a knower receiving it. But it's not a knowing function, right? It's a deliberation function. So I'm using it in this weird kind of wrong frame of reference, or in its most basic limited frame of reference. Let's just say that. And I'm not really able to use it in a bigger frame of reference than that. So in this particular instance, what I'm referring to is me actually expanding my frame of reference a little bit and using it more as a subject and recognizing it as giving me information about how much I value Rachel and how much I love her and how she's important, how I have to do harm prevention better in the future and stuff like that. So that's actually me, I guess you'd say, willfully successfully using quote unquote a non-conscious function. But what it really is me successfully mapping what's going on via the negative space. So everything that's not Fi, I can map out, and then I go, that must be what Fi is right there. It's not what it seems like it is. You can't really do what I'm describing myself as doing. You have to have some kind of workaround like that. Like, I like you, Drago. I still want to call you Drago. I've liked you since you've arrived, and I want you to know that. And it's primarily because of FE reasons, I guess, which is to say, I want you to know that FE is not all bad, right? It's like, I think it's important that you know that I like you and find your presence here pleasing. And it's true. I'm not bullshitting you. But it's not because I care about you. How's that for FI Polar? That's the fucking FI Polar right there. But I think it's more properly said. It's not because I think I care about you. It's because I like your presence and you make my experience better, right? That's what it means to be FI Polar. I don't use FI as a subject. Uh, Hi, precious angel.
Hey, Dad. Sorry I missed your calls.
I'm sorry, I called when you were sleeping. Okay, so I'm gonna stream for a little while longer, but then I'm going to go visit my daughter because I love her and I want to see her. See, that's FI Polar as well. I haven't called Delilah, I don't think, for like 3 weeks or something. I don't know. Even though I love the shit out of her, she's like my absolute favorite person. But I got stuff I'm doing. I got other stuff I'm paying attention to. So that's FI Polar as well. Instead, it was just an at. You feel somewhat similar to what I stated, Eric. You make a good whetstone to sharpen that blade upon. Huh. Okay. What did I say? I said you were a good foil for me, huh? Yeah, you're definitely a foil. And you're a good foil in that you're not like just provoke, shift ground, provoke, shift ground, provoke, shift ground. That's just annoying. You're usually not like that. Oliver Linehand's here? How did you know Oliver Linehand was here? Oh, I see, because he said something. Well, yep, he's here. So, I'm gonna go run over to Roraicha's house. Well, Drago, the difference is FE Polar meant that you probably felt good for the first part of what I was saying, and then felt hurt by the joke part, which is sort of a joke and sort of true. It's like, do I care about you a lot? Well, I mean, how much can I? It's one only has so much care. Do I care about the fact that you're a pleasant addition to this community? Yeah, I do. I appreciate that. I genuinely do, and I value it. And I think you're a great addition to the community. So that's what it means to be FE third and FI polar, is to think that you can have one without the other. And and for it to be F for you, it means to think you can't have one without the other. And so we're both wrong, you know? I guess is the point. That's the beautiful thing about cognitive functions. There's only one right way to say it, and it's that we're both wrong. Everybody's wrong in their own special way. Everybody's wrong in their typologically specific ways, and you just can't help it. You are okay, Jack. Well, maybe you got more FI than I do. I'm not a poser. God, I'm not posing. That's not posing. You don't even know what the word pose means then. I'm not posing. That's the thing. If I were posing, I would be bullshitting you about that end of it, right? I'm not bullshitting about that in this end of it, and I'm not bullshitting about that end of it either. And the thing is, I probably do care about you actually as people more than I would like to. you know, if I knew something was going on bad with Winston's mom or Peter Dentici or Lady Lou or Drag, I'd be concerned, and I would bring the attention of uh, of the whole stream to that for sure. You know, if it was something significant, if it was like you dropped your fork at the restaurant, then it probably wouldn't garner much attention. Okay, you dropped your fork. Shut up. But it's dirty now, and I'm afraid to ask the waitress for a new one. Why are you afraid? Because I've already dropped 2 forks. That's funny. Oh, jealous? You're jealous? Well, Jack, I get you. You win the omnipresent award. Okay, you win the omnipresent award. I don't think I could start a stream at any time, day or night, and bam, Jack's there. So this beard's getting a little bushy. Maybe it's time to do a little hair cutting. That shortest stream, the only reason I left it up at all even was because it was funny the way that I expected it to be a short stream, meaning about 45 minutes, and it turned out it was just. Yeah, well, drag, and I feel quite capable of SIing when I need to as well. I just got done sleeping my ass off. Hi, Running Fox. You're here for about 5 minutes, and I got to split because I got a phone call I was waiting for, but that means I probably will be streaming again later today, or doing something useful. I don't know. I need to change the water in the fish tank. I'm feeling restless. I'm feeling like, you know, I guess you'd say some artificial joy. Artificial joy in the face of persistent meows. Ah, yes. So I had named it, anticipated it to be 45 minutes, and as soon as I started it, my dad came in with a. Because the thing is, I thought that I had set it up. So I've gone and talked to my dad, made sure I knew what time we were leaving, got it all set up, and then I came in here and started to stream knowing I had about 45 minutes. And unfortunately, he came out like 2 minutes into it and had this problem with the nursing home, couldn't get through to him, and it was an interesting triumph of NI over SI because, or triumph of NI plus SI over just SI. Because I said, well, Dad, he said, their number's been disconnected. And I'm like, no, it just, after you continue letting it ring for a certain number of times, it says you entered the wrong code. And he's like, well, since I can't confirm with them about Jane's status over the phone, we need to go over there. And I'm like, okay, fine. So we drove over there, and of course, it didn't matter that we were there or whatever. They still didn't have any information. As I knew was going to be the case, they didn't have any information about her because the nurse wasn't in. Because they told us before, well, you have to wait till the nurse comes in the morning. I knew the nurse wasn't going to be in there. It's fucking 7:30 in the morning, so. And I figured they were just between shifts when we were calling. That's why nobody answered the phone. It's not like it's ever happened before. So, when we go there, of course, we still can't get any information because the nurse isn't in yet. And it's all going exactly as I anticipated. But my dad didn't listen to me, of course, because he never listens to me. But then, on the way, he literally wanted this. He wanted some person to come from the top floor and look down at us where we were on the ground floor and wave and say, she's fine. And he couldn't get that, so he was unsatisfied with the reality that we already knew, which was that she was fine. So as we're driving away, he's like frustrated, and I say to him, well, Dad, I mean, here's what I thought he's talking about who's going to pay for this ambulance ride to the hospital, my ESTJ dad is very, very meowy about that stuff, for sure. Very meowy about it. So, I said, well, Dad, as I concluded last night when we first heard about this, it's just another one of their things they do. They call us over every little scrape and bruise and scratch, and I'm sure they have some protocol that anytime there's anything that constitutes a head injury, or that they have to send her to the hospital as a possible concussion. And so they put her in the ambulance and sent her there, but she's fine. And if she hadn't been fine, if there was anything actually wrong with her, they would have done more than just alert us to the fact that she was back from the hospital now. I guess they called when she went to the hospital, but my dad was in the middle of getting his tooth pulled out, so he didn't have his phone on. So anyway, the thing is, what was interesting was watching him, and when I also said, it just sounds to me like people who are used to spending other people's money. We wouldn't have sent her in an ambulance to the hospital under those circumstances, nor did anybody had they had any discretion, but they've removed discretion from the equation, and that's why they sent her to the hospital. It's not that we should treat it as though she had to go to the hospital. And he sort of like, and it sort of made sense to him, right, for a second. It didn't seem to stick much, but that's NI polar, is him not getting that whole big picture I just described, which is accurate. So that's what NI polar is. I understood right away what had happened when, just based on the tone of the lady I was talking to on the phone and her lack of meaningful information. She was just dispatched to inform us of something, and there was no sense of urgency to the whole thing or anything. And so it's like when you read all the both the history of how it's been before and the reality of how this is right now and the way that people are talking about it, you can draw very very reliable conclusions about whether we should freak out or not. Except my dad with NI-polar doesn't have that as an active conscious function, so he's always using heuristics like, well, she went to the hospital, that's a big deal, you know? And I'm explaining, not in this situation, it's not. I can tell what's going on here. They have a thing, a checklist that says if there's a bump on the head or something, send them to the hospital. They've removed discretion from the equation. And that's why healthcare costs are outrageous for everybody. Apparently, Medicare is going to pay for it, so that's good. Um, well, I mean, that's all fine. Yesterday was the day that I had to vote for my dad anyway, because I had to drive him down to Hollywood to get his recently he recently had a some kind of insert thing put into his eye. It's some kind of newfangled cataract surgery. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but and the thing that they put in was making it such that when he was driving, he'd get like coronas off of the bright lights, like the supernova effect in an image program. The eye catheter. I don't know what that is, but that's fine. Whatever it is, they had to make some adjustments to it. So he went down there. They made some adjustments to it. Then they dilated his pupil, and I drove him back home. And by the time he gotten back home, he said he could already see a lot better. So I guess it worked. And in fact, he then drove himself places the rest of the afternoon. So that went smoothly, and he's got a clean bill of health across the board. He sees the doctors fairly regularly, and he had a bit of a scare regarding his kidney for a second, but then they did more testing and it's fine, and so he's in good shape. Mom is a frustration because they made it such that if we want to go see her, we have to show a COVID test, a negative COVID test, 48 hours, within 48 hours of visiting, which to me is just like, I mean, what my dad wants to do is order these COVID tests that you can get by the mail, and they've got 4 tests, and you can send them in, and I don't know. My 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 take on it is we should have medical transport bring her to lunch at the Cheesecake Factory so that everybody experiences the natural consequences of this insanity. But I guess other people aren't on board really with that plan. That's what I have to say about it is, okay, if we can't visit her, let's take her out into public then. And then send her back. But what? So change your fucking stupid policy. I don't think that colder temperatures make people sick, really. I think that's an old wives' tale. I think that's something your mom told you from a long time ago that you shouldn't have believed. That colder temperatures make you sick. Hi, Chris Chapman. I'm about to leave. I gotta go. But I'm leaving to empower myself to probably stream later. Although I feel such complicated emotions knowing that Rachel's still sort of down for the count, you know? And it's a FI thing. Yeah, okay. I can see the point on hypothermia all over. you, you win that point. Yeah, it does cause hypothermia. Okay. Um, so that's gonna have to do it for today. For right now, I'll be back later streaming more, but I have to go. I have to go. You know, say hello to my daughter, my beautiful, wonderful, special Delilah. Hey there, Delilah. When I named you Delilah, that song didn't exist.